Hello, I'm Colleen Holder and this is Let's Talk Tobago. Today we're at the Methodist Church located in the heart of our island's capital, Scarborough. Now, Wesleyan Methodists have been in Tobago since the 1800s, but it was Reverend John Nelson who was responsible for laying the cornerstone of this church. The church was built with discarded clay bricks from Europe, which were used as ballasts on sugar ships returning to Tobago. Free labor and subscriptions from church members also helped with the construction. In 1826, 2 years after construction started, this church officially opened its doors, making it one of Tobago's oldest churches. But let's leave it there for now to tell you about our stories this week. Transforming this island's economy through the promotion of business development. Land that's finally theirs. 23 more families get leases for the Adelphi estate. And Tobago's talent shines in the arts, winning the Pat Bishop Scholarship. This is Let's Talk Tobago. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us at the Scarborough Methodist Church. Behind me is the Tobago 20th Century Fund Memorial Window, but this is no ordinary design feature. Here's why. The Wesleyan Church was by far the largest of all the Methodist groups in the 19th century, and in 1898 it launched an appeal to finance a huge program of evangelical work and social action and to build a headquarters in the heart of London. It's believed this church contributed to that fund, and this is its way of commemorating its involvement. But let's segue from our location to tell you about a company set up to push this island's economic development to another level. It can be described as one of the many avenues that allow the private sector to take a greater and more proactive position as the engine of growth here in Tobago. In short, it's a facilitation vehicle. Omadara Mills explains.
More Tobagonians will be getting jobs through the operations of a company created by the THA called the Venture Capital Equity Fund Limited. But creating employment is not the only reason for this company's existence.
One is economic diversification. Two is job creation. As the THA doesn't believe it should be the primary employer, the sole primary employer on the island, and that the private sector needs to take a more active role. And the third mandate is in stimulating, as our tagline says, re-engineering entrepreneurship in Tobago.
The jobs created by the Venture Capital Equity Fund are through its financial investment into new local companies. With a focus on elevating entrepreneurship to a higher standard, the company purchases shares in the local companies so that venture capital becomes a shareholder of that local company for a maximum of 10 years. And one way of leaving the business is making its shares available to Tobagonians.
By the 10th year, we will dispose of our remaining equity, the other half of what we own, by way of an initial public offering. So we are, from day one, telegraphing to the investor, we are taking the company public, which therefore means that Tobagonians and nationals of Trinidad and Tobago will now have an opportunity to buy into this investment.
With its initial $25 million budget from the THA, the Venture Capital Fund has already committed $5.5 million to a beverage manufacturing company and a furniture manufacturing company. Agro-processing, renewable energy, and information and communication technology are some of the sectors which the Venture Capital Fund will be seeking to fund. Along with financial investment, the Venture Capital Equity Fund will also participate in the management of the companies and provide other technical support. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
We're staying on the topic of helping private sector businesses a while longer, but this time assistance is coming from a collaborative effort that involves the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB. It's not the first time the lending agency will be working with Tobagonians. In the past, they've funded film and video productions and ICT skills training, just to name a few. But as Davia Chambers tells us, this time they're discussing opportunities for private business owners.
It's not unlikely that the average person associates the IDB with government and public sector lending, but the bank says 10% of its funds are set aside for the private sector, something businesses in Tobago can take advantage of. In fact, entrepreneurs here got the chance to hear how they can be a part of the 10% to enhance the capital of Tobago, which was their major concern.
Perhaps if it was a structured cooperative, they could borrow and lend and was a legal entity. It could potentially borrow money from the IDB to do that.
To help the business owners understand the procedure, Senior Multilateral Investment Fund Specialist Vashti Duki Singh gave a working example the entrepreneurs can reference right here in the region.
Barbados has a situation where they have a lot of very old buildings. So their problem was really the cost of refurbishing and maintaining these buildings and keeping the place looking attractive. So the business community decided they needed to do two things. They needed to beautify the city, develop a little more lighting, infrastructure, that kind of thing. But they also needed to have events that would bring people to the city.
She says while the physical development is important, the social aspect is extremely vital. The IDB says proposals for projects must create jobs, be environmentally friendly and socially sustainable. They're encouraging Tobagonian businesses to consider these three factors in submitting proposals for funding. With this in mind, some of the participants say they're happy they got a chance to interface with the bank.
You build a large building, and what type of return can you get? You're not going to get anything. That is why it's very important for us to get the ideas of these various international banks to afford us some type of financing that will go along with the current enhancement plan that the Tobago House of Assembly and the people of Scarborough would like.
I think what they're doing or what they're attempting to do is very important for us as Tobagonians, so that we could learn of some of the funding opportunities that the bank has available.
The IDB wants the local businesses to think global but act local. But in case you missed that meeting, more information can be found online at www.iadb.org. I'm Davia Chambers for Let's Talk Tobago.
23 more residents of the Adelphi estate in Mason Hall are becoming legitimate owners of the lands which many have lived on, in some cases for decades. The 49-acre plot was purchased by the THA in 2008 for an estimated $13 million for those who've been living there without a deed. To date, 100 of the 208 plots have been distributed. Let's hear from the newest batch of recipients.
This is the home of Alan Stewart, one of the 23 residents of Adelphi Estate who recently received titles to their land. Mr. Stewart remembers a time when he lived on the land with his grandmother and the residents had to pay the landlord's rent for the properties. Now a legitimate owner, he says that his family will now be able to have access to opportunities which are afforded to landowners.
I feel empowered. I feel on behalf of myself and my family, we will be able to realize certain dreams in terms of expanding ourselves and being able to embrace opportunities that comes along with the property itself.
Lennox Spencer is another one of the Adelphi Estate residents. He's been living here since he got married. That's just over 20 years. And now he's relieved to find out that the THA decided to pay for the legal and registration fees of the land.
I was actually saving money to purchase the land. And when I see the Tobago House Assembly bought the estate, and they decided also to give us this deed, I'm very, very happy about it.
Elsa Cruikshank proudly received legal documents for the land which her family lived on for over 60 years. Her sister Salome Cruikshank says that she is grateful for the opportunity to have something to pass on to future generations.
In owning this piece of land, we feel really proud to know that the Tobago House of Assembly could afford us that privilege to really own the land. And our children, because I have 4 children, my other sisters have children, it's something that we could preserve for them for the future.
To date, the Assembly has distributed 100 leases to families on the Adelphi estate. Works are continuing by the THA to provide the deeds to more families in other parts of the Adelphi estate. I'm Umadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
We're taking a break, but on the other side, creating a Tobago Eco Foods label.
Sit Tobago, ready to provide your community with the highest degree of professional services in emergency response. Contact Sit Mariah at 660-0065 or Sit Speyside at 660-6096. Sit 24-hour services, emergencies, medical or other. Sit Pro, the new face of emergency management.
You're viewing Let's Talk Tobago. Thanks for staying with us. Today we're at the Scarborough Methodist Church, one of the 3 major churches on this island, to work with the THA to restore 5 historical buildings in Tobago. The initiative is to enhance the attractiveness of Scarborough. The deal is this: money raised by the churches for their restoration projects will be supplemented by the Assembly. Well, let's leave it there for now to focus on the agriculture sector and a look at a proposal that falls right in with this island's mantra of being clean, green and serene.
Fresh Market supplies organically grown without chemicals and processed without additives. It's what the world has come to know as eco-foods, or foods that adhere to environmentally sound practices. This option exists in many international markets, and soon Tobago will be offering a brand of its own, backed by certification from the Agriculture Division. The THA's plan is to create a Tobago Eco Foods label, producing organic food right here on this island and making it available domestically and nationally, an idea that excites this island's agricultural society.
It is creating a niche market for the Tobago product, the Tobago entrepreneur. Tobago is known for quality, and if we're going to brand our products, it's a way of creating a special niche market for Tobago product.
Mr. Dillon believes the need already exists for organic food, so it's just to make the plan a reality.
We start at home first. We make sure our people are fed first, healthy food first, but then we can export the surplus if there is surplus.
And from where he sits, there are 2 more critical pieces that will ensure this proposal works. Mr. Dillon is suggesting that the THA identify suitable lands as well as ensure there's trained available labor. All of the details are still to be worked out, but a Tobago Eco Foods label, as envisioned by the Assembly, will be under the jurisdiction of the Division of Agriculture. This division will be charged with official registration and administration of the use of the label, but it will also act as a police of sorts, ensuring compliance and going after imposters who seek to take advantage of the niche market the label will create. Perhaps an incentive for locals willing to take advantage of this scheme, but in need of assurances that their investment will be protected. I'm Davia Chambers for Let's Talk Tobago.
Tobago is famous for its sandy beaches, one of which has been ranked among the top 100 in the world. But the people tasked with managing 2 of the more popular ones want to ensure they improve on what already exists. Should the new board have its way, the international appeal of the Pigeon Point Heritage Park and the Storbay Beach facility will be ramped up. Here's how from Juliet James.
The administration and control of Pigeon Point Heritage Park Limited and Storbay Beach facility has a new board. The board, which is under the chairmanship of former TSTT operations manager for Tobago, Ronald Celestine, is now responsible for raising the profile of 2 of Tobago's popular beaches. Although it is early in his tenure, Mr. Celestine already has some ideas.
The first one being customer focus, in terms of customer service. The second being infrastructure development. And we have 127 acres of land here. We could do a lot of things in terms of developing it, providing different amenities.
Creating a visitor-friendly system of control and management of reef tour operators, especially at Storbay Beach facility, is also high on his agenda.
A lot of people have said to me, Ronnie, you have to eliminate touting. I have a different view. I see let us transform the touts to marketing agents. Let us train them. Let us change the way they dress, the way they speak, the way they approach the individuals that use our facility. Because in a real sense, it is, for me, close to impossible to get rid of touting. And even if you try to do it, you'll be wasting a lot of energy and also getting into a lot of conflict. So I'm saying, Don't eradicate them, transform them.
Other persons on the 9-member board include legal advisor Alvin Pascal, who is the deputy chairman of the board, entrepreneur Roy Jacob, marketing officer, Division of Tourism and Transportation, Jessel Peters, former Civilian Conservation Corps regional manager Neil King, Clive Licorice, Delman Edwards, Valeria Cheel, and a representative from the Division of Agriculture, Marine Affairs, Marketing and the Environment. From the Division of Tourism and Transportation, I'm Julia James reporting for Let's Talk Tobago.
Aquaculture and agriculture are terms you no doubt know, but did you know there exists the concept of floriculture? That's the cultivation of flowers or flowering plants, especially for ornamental purposes. Well, Tobago's soil is rich, and this island is home to many types of flowers, and it's perhaps the reason there's a plan to partner with the Horticultural Society to make this a viable industry.
Heliconias, ginger lilies, alpinas. These are some of the flowers that the Division of Agriculture, Marine Affairs, Marketing and the Environment hopes to export to the European Union. This idea originated during a visit to Guadeloupe when THA officials saw firsthand the kinds of exports the Chamber of Agriculture in Guadeloupe has been selling on the EU market. The president of the Tobago Horticultural Society says the industry is financially rewarding for sole traders and on a mass production scale as well.
As you know, Tobago is rich in soil. You know, you have a sandy loam sort of texture in terms of the soil which. So it's something that we should be engaged in because you have the environment which will actually accept and produce the type of ornamentals which will suit the external market.
The division plans to organize a meeting with experts like Mr. Richardson, and even as plans to make this a reality are in train, the association's president already knows what's needed to make the industry a viable one.
If they could actually offer the sort of support in terms of lands and equipment, so that the stakeholders or the ornamental producers could actually be encouraged.
Also on his list of to-dos, educational seminars that will allow the industry to produce a product that endure a long journey and continue to be fresh when it hits the marketplace.
Harvesting is important so that when you export these flowers, they will be durable and last in an acceptable condition.
In 2000, the world flower trade was worth an estimated $7 billion. And the European Union is believed to consume over 50% of the world's flowers. Some 65 countries are already part of that trade, and Tobago hopes to be added to that list. I'm Davia Chambers for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's time to take another break, but stay with us because coming up, you'll meet the two students who impressed the judges to win a 3-week stint in Wisconsin, USA. Welcome back. This is Let's Talk Tobago, and you're joining us at the Methodist Church located in Scarborough. As we told you earlier, this is one of the oldest buildings on the island. What we never said is that this piece of architecture is 185 years old. Yes, you heard right. But the age started showing in some of the external walls. Thanks to a generous donation from the National Gas Company and extensive and tedious work, brick by brick, these walls have been restored to their original glory. And speaking of glory, two young Tobago musicians are bringing recognition to this island using their musical talent. They won fully funded scholarships, grants that have been described as a once-in-a-lifetime experience. They'll also get the opportunity to perform at more than 7 concerts in the United States. Let's get the backstory to how it all happened.
Members of the Tobago Serenity Vibes. These two 17-year-old musicians, Avery Atz and Dachelle Morrison, are music literate. The skill of learning how to read music is something which they have been mastering since they were children. And this talent is paying off. They are the first 2 youths to receive the first ever Pat Bishop Scholarship from the National Musical Literacy Trust.
I was really excited, and well, not only are we the first to get the scholarship, but the two of us are from Tobago. So I think that's a big accomplishment for Tobagonians.
The musical director for Tobago Serenity Vibes, Anthony Moore, says that he was not only confident of his students' ability to perform their musical pieces, but also read and play music they have never encountered before.
Most of the band members are very good sight readers, especially Avery and Dashell. So we thought it best to give them the opportunity, and they did grab that opportunity.
Dashell plays the pan and the piano. She says that the 3-week steel pan workshop in the United States gives her the opportunity to improve her musical abilities and help others as well.
I hope to learn a lot of things from him, make new friends and connections and everything. And well, when I come back, I hope to share my knowledge with upcoming musicians as well to better other Tobagonians.
The proud mothers of these two musicians say that the Pat Bishop Scholarship Program will help to develop their children's character and music careers.
She has always been a keen student, very shy though, so I hope that this would help to propel her and to bring her out, so to speak, the shyness, and so she's going to be more brave.
I'm actually very excited for Avery because I see this as a very large stepping stone for him in his musical development and as he really enters into the career of music.
The all-expense-paid scholarship will allow these two panists to attend the Birch Creek Steel Pan and Percussion Workshop in the United States, where they will work with an associate professor of steel pan, who is also Trinidadian, Liam Teague, during a 3-week workshop in Wisconsin. I'm Umadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
He's a world-famous footballer, once sharing the field with another big name in the game, David Beckham. But he's also frequently seen with celebrity and cricket hero Brian Lara. But they're hardly Dwight York's only famous friends. Dwight York has spent many years on the international sports circuit, and now he's signed on to continue as one of this island's diplomats. Juliet James tells us more.
Sporting icon Dwight York signs on for another 4 years as tourism ambassador for Tobago. York has been promoting the island both locally and internationally as part of the Division of Tourism and Transportation's Sport Tourism Initiative.
It's a great honor for me to be part of the tourism for sport as an ambassador, to try and bring recognition to the country, to try and help bringing in foreign stars and showing our facilities back in Tobago here.
In the past, York has visited Dallaford, Roxborough and Bonaccord primary schools, giving motivational speeches and signing autographs. York also appeared in promotional photos and videos in order to promote the various tourism niche. In 2009, York hosted the first Dwight York Invitational Golf Tournament, which attracted sport and media celebrities like cricket record holder Brian Lara, Desmond Haynes, Russell Adelphi, and English sports presenter Charlotte Jackson. Now in his second 4-year term as Tobago's ambassador, York will be part of an intensive and strategic promotional campaign targeting specific regions, including Europe. From the Division of Tourism and Transportation, I'm Juliet James reporting for Let's Talk Tobago.
In a world dominated by video games and social media, it's refreshing to find out that there are workable and attractive alternatives for our children. It's a place that provides a temporary home for at-risk youth. But this facility isn't contented to leave it there. They've added another element that involves interacting with nature. Let's find out more from Davia Chambers.
Looking at the home from this view, it appears to be just a regular concrete building. But then, when on entering the backyard, there's a transformation, a visually appealing green space, the Family First Foundation's nurturing play park. Many fruit trees and plants surround the area, sheltering you from the sweltering sun.
In this park, we try to introduce some of the old games that we used to play. So we will have roundels, we will have, little hide and seek. We'll have the swing, and we will have the little walk around. We'll have the looking at our butterfly garden. We will have the hula hoop. We'll have the rope skipping. We'll have hopscotch.
While the kids will have the chance to play all those games, Mrs. Hercules says there's another feature to the park.
We have our different trees. We have a cherry tree, we have the mango trees, we have the pawpaw trees. So we point out that to them. We even have a wood ants nest that, we have preserved. We know the wood ants as a nuisance. And I know that I used to call it the rainfly nest. However, I said, but I never did any research on the wood ants. And I got there to the internet and I have a research and see what the wood ants is all about. What does it do to the environment? So we have all those kind of information to educate the children.
She says she's happy to see the children enjoying nature.
They're really excited. They light up this place. They light up this place, especially with the trees around. I mean to say, the trees may be more excited than they play. They like to swing on the trees and, use the swing.
As the foundation continues to develop its park, a fountain will be placed there to add to the ambience of the area, and the group also plans to add to the provision and herbs and spices garden. This organization opened its doors to abandoned children back in 1998 and today continues to provide a safe space for Tobagonian youths to call home. It's assisted by the Tobago House of Assembly. I'm Davia Chambers for Let's Talk Tobago.
And it's time to have Your Say, the segment of our program where we hear from you, the viewers. Tobago's Heritage Festival is right around the corner. This event has been a staple on the island's calendar for the past 25 years. But at the official launch, the organizers promised new elements, events they said would provide Tobago with a reflection of its culture and history. So we're asking, what are your expectations of this year's festival? This is what you said.
First, I want to say that I love heritage. It gives you so much information about history, what happened in the past. It's a reminder. And what I expect it to continue in that line.
Well, there's a little question, but it deserves a big answer. I feel the big answer for that is more collaboration, more expectation. I feel just more. Everything seems to be on the down low. Heritage seems to be dying because I feel they're going the wrong direction.
First of all, my expectations is that this year's Heritage is going to by far outrank the other festivals we've had. Having had almost, 26 years to have practiced what we do.
Well, I expected that the festival will be greater than the previous years, for reasons that there are one or two new communities get actually involved. And my expectation is that we have a larger turnout of domestic tourism.
And that's how we leave you on this week's edition of Let's Talk Tobago. Do remember you can send us your comments to information@tha.gov.tt or visit us at www.tha.gov.tt. Like us on Facebook and add us to your YouTube playlist. I'm Colleen Holder, and on behalf of all of us at the Department of Information, have a safe and enjoyable week. And as we go, here are some shots of the successful and happy students who received their SEA results.
Thank you.